on today's Art of Accountability segment. So you guys know that a lot of the Brett Johnson Show is about me learning how to become a better person than I've been, because let's be honest, I spent a lot of my life not being a good guy. Now I work diligently every single day to try to protect people and businesses from that type of person that I used to be. I also try to find out new things about myself constantly. That's one of the reasons that I appeared on the Jordan Peterson Show a few weeks back. The Brett Johnson Show, we're doing this segment called The Art of Accountability, and I'm giving little tidbits on what I think is important on how you can live healthy, better, be a better person overall. Because at the end of the day, if we can just wake up and every day try to be just a little bit better than we were the day before, I don't think that's a bad thing. So today, we're taking a bit from the Serenity Prayer. So for those who don't know, the Serenity Prayer, there are like 16 different variations of it. The most common is used in Alcoholics Anonymous as part of the recovery program. And it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Think about that for a second. The serenity to accept the things I cannot change. We live in a society, and Lord knows I've been guilty of that myself, being that control freak that I am. We want to control everything in our environment, and when we can't, when a lot of people can't, it results in anxiety. And that's what this prayer is saying. Grant me the serenity, because serenity is the exact opposite of anxiety. When you're presented with a situation, something's going wrong in your life, it's important to take that situation in the moment. Anxiety, if you're experiencing anxiety at the same time, that gets you out of the moment. It gets you thinking about the past, the potential future, instead of taking that situation in the moment, considering it, thinking about it, causing the feelings about it, and then finally the actions about it. You're catastrophizing. You're thinking about the past or something like that, and that's influencing your thoughts, your feelings, and then finally your actions at the end of the day. So the prayer is talking about, hey, grant me the serenity. Grant me the serenity to understand that, hey, there are things in this world, in this society, that we cannot change. We cannot control everything. And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, understanding that we live on a planet where we do not have control of every single facet of our lives. But we need to understand that. We need to understand there's a difference between what we can control and what we cannot control. We need to accept those things that we cannot control and understand that if we can't control it, we should not let it control us. So that's what we're talking about, is being able to accept that, being able to have the courage to act on the things that we can control. So you've got this manager at your job, and the manager is a hard ass. The manager is a bit of an asshole sometimes. He doesn't treat you right sometimes. It's important to understand that you can't change that person. You're never going to be able to change that person. But what can you do? You can control the way that you respond. You can control whether you continue to work at that job or you start making moves to find another job. So there are aspects of that situation that you can control. Understand that when you're looking at a situation like that, a lot of people, I've heard this saying, these absolutes of, he always treats me bad, or she always does this. Well, no, that's an absolute. An absolute is a thinking error. It's important to take things in the moment, to consider, okay, most of the time, maybe even sometimes, maybe 90% of the time, this manager or this relationship is very negative to me, but it's not constant. You have to take things in the moment, be truthful, be objective, be able to set aside, as we talked about the news from the headlines, be able to set aside your emotions and your dogma or your biases and consider things as objectively as possible as they're happening in the moment, and then have the courage to act on that and have the wisdom to know the difference between the two, to understand what you can control and what you cannot control. If you can do that, if you can get to that point, and one of the ways that you do this is to recite this prayer. And here's the thing, I am not a religious person. I'm not. So you can cut the God out, you can put it in higher power, you can put in whatever you want to in there. You can put Gumby in there if you want to. I don't care. But recite it every single day. And as you recite it, it will set the tone for your day. And the more you recite it, you'll start to put it into practice, and you'll start to adapt it to your daily way of life. And after a while, it becomes part of your life. That habit becomes a way of life, and you become a better person at the end of the day. And that is today's Art of Accountability segment.